Fine. So next let us go into the step of elongation. Elongation is quite similar what you have studied in prokaryotes, so nothing to explain in a newer way. What I want to just mean is that this is the 40S, 40S, 60S. This is my mRNA. Okay, so this site is the P site, this is the A site, and this is the exit site. So if this particular portion, the codon is say N, right? So this will be N plus 1 and this will be N minus 1. Okay, here what we can see is that just imagine, right, when the initiation has occurred, right, and next, right, when the elongation process, right. So suppose just imagine this was AUG. Okay, so the methionine, initiator methionine tRNA is attached here. Okay, next what happens is that the elongation factors comes into play. Elongation factor, eukaryotic elongation factor 1A. It is joined up, bounds with the GTP and the amino acyl tRNA, incoming amino acyl tRNA, forms a ternary complex. Right? Now this ternary complex are going to be recruited here. This joining is very much required, right, so that the direction is proper to this particular A site, right? So this amino acyl tRNA is going to be directed here in the A site, right? So once it comes here, right, fine, A site, this elongation factor 1A and GTP will be hydrolyzed and it will leave, and this particular amino acyl tRNA will be joined in the A site, right? So the P site was containing the initiator methionine tRNA, and the A site is containing the amino acyl tRNA with respect to the codons which is there in the adjacent position. Now we have to see what happens, how the peptide bond, the second step, elongation, right? I forgot to divide. I can divide it right again right into 3 steps. First is your amino acyl tRNA, amino acyl tRNA binding to A site. A site is the acceptor site or amino acyl site of the ribosome. Then we have got this peptide bond formation. And third is elongation. Oh no, it should not be elongation. Translocation. Right? Now let us see what happens. We have to form, the binding is over, formation of the bond. This particular area, if I can zoom in, right, I just write it in this manner. I'm zooming it up, okay, making it a big circle. Okay, this was my methionine tRNA. So methionine tRNA means it was linked in this way by star linkage, isn't it? So how it was linked? Just zooming it up, right? So here this is the carbonyl carboxylic group. This was forming a ester bond, right? And so this was methionine tRNA, right? Here I had suppose say another suppose this is a glycine or any side amino acid, that can let me be not specific, right? So this is any such amino acid. Now what happens is that this alpha amino group is going to nucleophilically attack this ester bond, right? This nucleophilic attack, this alpha amino group is going to nucleophilically attack. So once it nucleophilically attacks, what happens is that it is going to form a what bond? Peptide bond. The bond between an amino group and the carboxylic acid group is the peptide bond, isn't it? What happens is that it is CO, this particular bond, right? So what happens, you see, this particular amino acid from the P side is being shifted with the bond formation and it goes towards the A side, right? So this is what happens, right? And this particular bond which has been formed is the peptide bond. Now once this is formed, this particular tRNA, this becomes uncharged, doesn't carry any amino acid, because the amino acid which it had, it shifted to the A side, right? So similarly, if we can see, suppose if we can initiator codon, so this particular bond has formed, if we can just see here, suppose so to say somewhere there was a methionine, right? The formation or growing polypeptide chain which is been carried by this particular tRNA and takes the position in the P side, and this incoming amino acid which is N+1, the same thing occurs, right? This N+1 amino acid here, it is going to nucleophilically attack, and then the entire segment is going to get transferred to the P side with the formation of a peptide bond between N+1 and N, right? As a result, what happens is that this N+1 N-1, likewise it goes. Suppose say initiator methionine was there, right? So this is free, uncharged, free. So next what happens is that this elongation factor 1A GTP's action is over, they have been released. Eukaryotic elongation factor 2 joined with GTP, it comes and it attaches itself here. Once it attaches itself here, it is hydrolyzed. This GTP is hydrolyzed. Here means in this particular complex. The moment the GTP is hydrolyzed, right, this particular ribosomal unit, it moves one codon ahead, right? How it moves? So this N, it is going to go to this, N+1 is going to be there, and this is N+2, this N+2 which was here, right? So this was my A site, this is my P site, and this is my E site. Now you see the uncharged tRNA is going to get itself attached here, right? The peptidyl tRNA means the amino acid, after being formation of the peptide bond to the growing polypeptide chain, to the the amino acid which is present in the present in the A side, and the entire polypeptide chain is shifted to the A side, right? It comes to the P side here. N plus 1, N minus 1, just shifting, the position has shifted. So from this E side, the name suggests exit side, this uncharged tRNA will move away, right? And this A side will be free again to accept a new amino acyl tRNA, right? Amino acyl tRNA, it will come and it will bind to this side. Again the same thing, the alpha amino group of the amino acid which is present in the A side will nucleophilically attack the ester bond, right, in the tRNA which is present in the P side, and again the entire polypeptide chain will be shifted to A side. Again elongation factor 2 will come with GTP hydrolysis. What will happen is that the ribosome is going to move a sequence further, and the position of the tRNA is going to change, the P side, A side respectively, right? So this is what happens in the elongation process. Just the difference in prokaryotes is that in prokaryotes this 1A job is done by eukaryotic elongation factor Tu, eukaryotic elongation factor Ts, right? And this eukaryotic elongation, just pardon me, in prokaryotes this is done by elongation factor. Why I should mention the name eukaryotic? In prokaryote it has to be prokaryotic. Elongation factor Tu, elongation factor Ts, and here it will be elongation factor G. Just the difference in the elongation factor. Rest of the things are going to be similar. Let us just see a slide. So the tRNA binding, slide. Okay. Now let us rub this also so that you see this is the peptidyl tRNA. It is the moment captured when the process of translation is going on, right? So it started with initiator methionine tRNA, and then the amino acids are added, right? So this is the P side where it is added. You see this A side is free, the E side is free. This elongation factor 1A with GTP is going to form a ternary complex with the amino acyl tRNA, right? Once it forms, right, fine, it directs this amino acyl tRNA to the A side. You see this A side, right? So once this A side is occupied by this amino acyl tRNA, there occurs nucleophilically attack of the alpha amino group to the ester bond which is there in the polypeptide chain linked up with the tRNA, and as such the whole polypeptide gets shifted to the tRNA present in the A side, right? tRNA present in the A side. Okay, so once it gets shifted to the tRNA present in the A side, you see your P side is free, your E side is free, and then the translocation is going to occur. Translocation, this elongation factor 2 is going to come, and then the translocation is going to occur, and it is going to change. Means this particular tRNA is going to come, this is going to occupy the P side, your A side is again going to get free, and from the E side your uncharged tRNA is going to go out. Again the same thing repeats, right? Am I clear? Okay. Now let us move into the final step, that is your termination. Termination, very easy, nothing much required. You have to just have a stop codon, isn't it? So this is again the P side, this is the A side, this is the E side, right? Here I find my tRNA contains the amino acids, right? But you see this particular portion This is either UGA or UAG, right? The stop codon. The stop codon means this particular codon doesn't have any specific amino acyl tRNA, right? It doesn't have any amino acyl tRNA. Here what happens is that your termination factor, that is releasing factor 1, it comes into play. The releasing factor 1, suppose this is its shape, it is going to get attached with, this is releasing factor 1, this is releasing factor 3. It gets joined with releasing factor 3 with the help of one GTP, and this releasing factor 1 and 3 is going to come and occupy this A site. Okay, but this A site now doesn't have any amino acid, the nucleophilic attack, what I have said earlier. What it is going to do is that it is going to recruit water molecule. So hydrolytically, the same thing which occurred during the elongation process, using this water molecule, it is going to cleave this particular ester bond. As a result, the polypeptide chain will be liberated. The releasing factors will be liberated. The subunits will be separated, and the mRNAs also gets separated. You see, this water molecule, why I said right fine that it recruits hydrolytically, it cleaves the ester bond. Previously, there used to be a amino acyl tRNA. The alpha amino group used to nucleophilically attack this ester bond, right? Ester bond present in the tRNA, which is present in the P side. Here there is no such tRNA, but this releasing factor, what it does, it recruits water molecule, and this water molecule is going to attack this particular bond, ester bond, and once it attacks, right fine, it is going to release it, right? So this is what is the termination. For prokaryotes, the termination, the factors are 3 factors: releasing factor 1, releasing factor 2, and releasing factor 3. Based upon the difference in the stop codon recognition that you must have studied, I won't go into detail. Another thing I should mention, right, and I forgot to mention, is that the nucleophilically attacking of the amino group to the ester, this and the transfer of the entire peptide, polypeptide occurring, this is done by the action of peptidyl transferase, and that peptidyl transferase activity of the larger subunit 60S subunit, mainly the 28S rRNA, right, rRNA occurs, right? So this is another example of ribozyme activity, right? RNA acting as enzyme. Fine. So let us see the last slide, the termination slide. Next. Fine. So this is what I was saying. The stop. This is the stop codon. This is the stop codon. Okay, I got one pointer. It will be easier for me. Stop codon. You see, this is your releasing factor 1, releasing factor 3 gets joined here, right? And then it recruits this water molecule, and this water molecule will be hydrolytically cleave this particular ester bond. Now the peptide, polypeptide is liberated, the tRNA is liberated, the 40S, 60S, releasing factor 1, 3 right is liberated, right? The same thing occurs in prokaryotes, only the releasing factor 1 and 3, there is another one, that is releasing factor 2. Releasing factor 1, 2 and 3 for prokaryotes, right? So this is in general the process. Simultaneously I compared it with the prokaryotes. At the very end, right, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just make a table and just make a table and differentiate it, right? Okay, so let us see prokaryotes translation, eukaryotes. Can be the difference? First, in general, this is prokaryotes are polycistronic. That means cistronic. This is monocistronic, right? So you understand what is polycistronic, what is monocistronic? Polycistronic means the mRNA will have several coding regions, right? And each coding region will code for a polypeptide, single polypeptide. So there will be more than one polypeptide which will be coded by a segment of mRNA. So this is polycistronic coding region, Monocistronic for eukaryotes means it has only one single coding region, right? Number 2, what can be the difference next? The difference is going to be your ribosomal unit, right? It is your 70S, here it is 80S, right? Number 3, your factors, initiator factors will be 3. Here eukaryotic initiation factors will be around 10, right? And few of the factors will be multi-subunit. Similarly, number 4, the attachment of mRNA with the ribosome, here it will be based on base pairing, as I said, base pairing of the 3' end of the 16S RNA of the smaller subunit 30S with the Shine-Delegarno sequence, right, which is 6 to 10 base pairs upstream of the initiator codon. They will have a complementary base pair, right? Pairing up is going to attach the messenger RNA with the ribosome. Here it is going to be entire a hell lot different process. Formation of 43S initiation complex, as I have mentioned, and then 48S. But the joining occurs, right, fine, basically if I have to point out a single important factor, and that is going to be the cap structure. This cap structure of the mRNA is going to attach itself to the 40S subunit, right? Next comes your, right, you see the elongation factor. Here you have elongation factor TU, TS, and elongation factor G. Here you have got elongation factor 1A and elongation factor 2, right? Okay, another thing I forgot is that the initiator tRNA, amino acid tRNA, here it is what? Formyl methionine tRNA. This is formylated. The methionine is formylated. Here it is simply the methionine tRNA, right? Next, coming to the releasing factors, it has got 3 releasing factor, 1 releasing factor, 2 releasing factor, 3. Here it is only 1 and 2. So these are few differences which right at this point in time is coming in my mind, and so I have just started it out here. There can be some more difference once you go through the topic and you compare the prokaryotic process with the eukaryotic one. I think you will be able to chart by your own self, right? So the class has been a bit lengthy. I hope right now you are going to go through your topic and like it. Thank you, and stay safe, stay healthy.